Cardio training, establishing the aerobic base. That is kind of the fad in mountain performance right now, and any sort of distance performance sport right now. And I agree with it. I think it's something that needs to be addressed. I think it allows folks in the weight room to have a better recovery, to get down to the recovery heart rate quicker. HIIT training allows you to get down to that recovery heart rate a little bit quicker. Same thing with aerobic. It allows you to get down to the recovery heart rate a little bit quicker, but it also improves your ability to work within the proper training or proper energy systems. So there's zone training, there's energy system training, there's effort training. Like you can kind of dose aerobic training based off of those three things. But establishing the aerobic base is going to be important. It can take anywhere from 2, 3 to 6 months to establish that. So if you're training for a hunt that's this September, like elk season's coming up, by the time this video rolls out, you've got about June, July, August. You've got about 3.5, 4 months to get ready for that. So if you have not started, definitely taking the first 2 months of your training routine and any sort of aerobic activity that you do, whether it's rowing, kayaking, running, hiking, swimming. Swimming. That's a whole nother beast. But any sort of aerobic activity that you're doing, you need to be able to breathe in and out through your nose with whatever activity you're doing. And if you have to slow down your pace and take, like say you're hiking up a steep mountain or a steep incline, or you're doing the stair stepper, and you have to slow down your pace, or you have to hold on with 2 hands onto the stair stepper, so be it. Like you've got to dial that back in order to allow yourself to establish that base. Like you can't build a very high pyramid on a base that's pretty narrow, right? Same thing here. Like it's pretty hard to build up on a very narrow aerobic base to that higher heart rate, a higher intensity aerobic training and the weightlifting, if you don't have a solid aerobic base to start off with. So nose breathing. So how to train into that aerobic base is going to be nose breathing, or having a conversation like what I'm doing with the camera right now. It should be fairly easy breathing. It shouldn't be hard effort. You might be surprised, like when you start to do this, you might be surprised at how low of an intensity you have to go in order to allow yourself to still breathe through your nose. It does not take much sometimes, especially if you have not trained in that zone or that effort level, to get the heart rate up to the point where you're now out of that energy system. This energy system is important for backpackers because it's going to allow you to pack in, pack out, and stay in that energy system that utilizes fat as fuel, and it's going to allow you to go further longer. And once it's kind of like using a Honda Civic versus a diesel truck or a truck. The Honda Civic is going to go forever and ever and ever. It doesn't have a huge engine, but it's going to go forever and ever and ever. The truck has a bigger engine, sucks up a lot more gas, so it's not going to be able to go as long. You want to be the Honda Civic on your pack-ins and pack-outs. You need to be able to go for a long period of time, not wear yourself out. Honda Civics require very low maintenance, and when you have to go in for maintenance, it's not very expensive, right? Same thing with your aerobic training. Like you need to establish that base to allow yourself to get in and out of whether you're going to a tree stand for whitetails on public land, you're dragging a deer out, or you're packing into the mountains, you're packing all the mountains, you're hunting antelope in the plains, in the prairies. You've got to have that aerobic base in order to allow yourself to go for that long period of time. And then from that, you need to train into the higher heart rate zones, the different energy systems. And that's going to be a video in a different email. But you need to train into those different energy systems to allow yourself to be efficient in those energy systems as well. But it's got to start with that aerobic base.